A lot of people ask me what the best unit is in All-Star Tower Defense. So today I'm going to show you guys the best unit in every category. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button because I'm giving away this rare Sabo to somebody down below in the comments if we get to 285k subs. So make sure you guys comment down your Roblox username and drop a like. Starting off, we have the best units for raid mode. I know a lot of people are grinding raid mode so they can get those new 7 stars. Me personally, I'm trying to get Diavolo 22 of these hell arrows. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so starting off, we have a unit you can't get anymore, but this was the OG best unit for raids. He's still good for raids, so we'll put him on this list, guys, and that is the Pirate King. The reason he's still on this list is this starting damage right here. All right, if you put him in your first slot so he gets the leader bonus and you give him a fire rage orb, he's doing a ton of damage with a 5-second SPA. And another great thing about him is he has an upgrade that you can easily afford, 2 upgrades that you can easily afford in raid mode, basically to do a ton of damage for only like 300k. So if you farm up enough, you should be able to afford that. That makes him a great option for raid mode. However, he has been replaced by 2 units, guys. All right, first up we have Ace. I recommend you get Ace 6-star, but Ace 5-star is actually not bad as well. You guys can compare the damage. Look at this guy. So Ace is doing more but has a slower SPA. All right, and he has less range. However, if you upgrade Ace enough, he gets even better. All right, and he also hits airs from the start, which is very convenient. Like, so we spent what 17k and he's doing 234k. If we spend 17k on this guy, all right, he's only doing 84. All right, so Ace is a lot better value for money, but granted, Goldie Roger does have a slightly better circle. Now the thing is, if you get Ace to his 6-star form, Fade Furious, look at this right here, guys. He gets a full AoE attack, which is doing millions and millions of burn damage. All right, also, if you don't get Ace from the banner and instead you get Magma Marine, he's not that bad as well. He's going to be doing very, very, very similar damage to Ace. Except he's more of a ground unit only. He also does have a really, really sweet evolution as well. Look at this, really insane. But he is more of an infinite mode unit, as far as instead of a raid mode unit. Yeah, so he's definitely more of a raid mode. He's more of an infinite mode unit, but he does have a few upgrades that makes him interesting. So I definitely recommend Ace, but if you don't have Ace and you got Akainu instead, it's not a terrible option. All right, next up, guys, if you want a free unit, we have Taco Cheetah. This is my code unit. If you guys need the code, let me know down below, but you must be subscribed for it to work. So just ask me in the comments and I'll tell you the code. All right, the thing about her is she has the blue passive, so she's really good against, I believe it's the Season Raid. Also, she has her last thing, gives her Black Flames. All right, so what Black Flames does is it allows her to do 20x damage. So you see this 100k, she's doing like 20x that. And with Irwin buff, it's 60x. So she's doing 6 million damage at max level, which is so OP, especially considering she only costs $30,000 to max. All right, and then we have what I recommend to get. This one is a little bit harder, but it's not actually that hard to get. I recommend getting this guy right here. If you give him the Fire Rage Orb, he is doing around 100,000 damage per hit with a 10-second SPA. That is freaking insane. And another great thing about him is you can easily afford this upgrade right here. That gets him to do 700k without Irwin buff and poison. All right, so if you throw the Irwin buff, he's doing like 12 to 15 million damage per hit. And that's freaking insane considering he's even cheaper than Goldie Roger. Like, if I compare Goldie Roger to him, all right, for the same cost, look at this. He's doing triple the damage that Goldie Roger's doing. Granted, his SPA is a lot higher, and his range and AoE is the same, but his range isn't as good. But I definitely think triple the damage more than makes up for that. All right, next up, guys, let me show you guys the best units for buffing and slowing. So we're gonna go over the utility units, and then at the end I'll show you guys the best units for damage in infinite mode. All right, so people, I have a lot of questions because in the tier list video I said Brook was the best buff, and then they see me using Irwin in some game modes. All right, I'm gonna explain that right now while I do that, and also show you guys this guy that you just don't use. This guy, please don't use him. Oh my gosh, he technically is the cheapest of the buff units, but his ability takes so long to recharge, it's just not worth it. They really need to rebuff him. All right, here we go, guys. All right, so we're just gonna skip that guy. He's not the best buff. All right, so the reason you want, if we compare Brook and Irwin, look at this. So at the start, Brook is definitely better. All right, more range, more damage, and SP doesn't matter. All right, so at the start they're both better, but the thing about Irwin is he look at this. For 500 we get 21 damage. For 750 we get +4. So the problem with Skeleton Artist is he's way more expensive. So look at this. To max Irwin out and get 106 damage, it only cost us like $2,000. But to get Brook up to 100, look at this, guys. He's still not up there. He's still not up there. Finally, guys, we had to max him out, and that cost us like what? Almost like $60,000. Like, it's ridiculous. So I recommend, if for infinite mode you guys want to use Brook, or if you're running raids and you have a bunch of people, maybe you can have somebody dedicated to Brook. Because the thing is, you need 4 Brooks. So 4 Brooks and the East cost like 30 to 60k a piece. That's insane. Now you could give the Fire Rage Orb, so maybe it's a little cheaper, but you know. All right. So that is the explanation of the buff units. So solo, raid mode or story mode, definitely bring Irwin. Or if you have a ton of people or you have a lot of money units, definitely use Brook. Because Brook also does give a slight range buff as well, but not as good as Merlin's buff. All right, so let's go talk about the slow units. First, I want to test the theory real quick. So for this guy, oh my gosh. Wow, he just lagged the game. Did you guys see that? He just lagged the game. Anyways, I recommend giving him the Universal Reduction Orb, because that's going to look at this, guys. So look at this. So now he only costs, oh, it didn't tell me the cost. Dang it. All right. Yeah, you see he costs way less, like $500 less if you use the Universal Reduction Orb. So I want to test the theory real quick if this guy slows down units at the start. If you slow down units at the start, then he actually might be one of the best buff units in the game because he's the cheapest buff. So let's go spawn in some enemies. Let's see if he slows down units at the start. The answer to that question is yes, guys. So a lot of people don't know this, but he is actually the cheapest slow unit in the game. I know. That's insane, right? He is the cheapest slow unit in the game. Look at this. For Blackbeard to slow, he cost $1,600 more, guys. $1,600 more. Plus, this guy is full AoE, and you can give him the blue eye orb. So that's freaking insane, boys. Granted, and a lot of people care about his SPA, but that don't matter, man, because he's full AoE at the end. Or if you want to buy it all the way up there. Oh, dang, that does really suck. All right, well, if you want to spend a lot of money, he's full AoE. So I definitely, for infinite mode, he has a chance, all right? Because this is what we're comparing right here. We're comparing this to this. Like, honestly, like, look how much more range he covers. Like, it's insane. Plus, if you gave him the blue eye orb, and if you look at, if we use this guy as well, it scales very well. You see this, guys? It scales very well if you guys use Merlin buff in this guy. So definitely for infinite mode, I think you should give this guy a look. I do wish they would decrease his SPA to like 10 or something though. But if you're using raid mode, I definitely recommend Blackbeard. Unless you need like cheap slows, but his SPA is just so high, maybe not. There is a couple modes, like for infinite modes with air units, you definitely want to bring Ichigo. But do not forget, guys, do not forget to bring the orb. You see that orb on him? Do not forget to bring that or you'll be in for a rough time. So there you go, guys. That's an explanation of the best buff units and the best time and the best slow units. So now let's go on to the next categories, guys. We got Timestop. Actually, yeah, we got the Timestop units. So let me show you guys all the best Timestop / utility units and what they all do and which ones you should use for which mode. All right, so let's go over the best utility and Timestop units. All right, as you guys saw on my shoulder, the best Timestop unit, guys, is still Gojo. Pretty obviously, considering what his power is in the anime. But yeah, so Gojo 6-star has the longest Timestop. All right, the nice thing about Gojo 6-star is you can Timestop him. And if you give him a lot of range buffs, he basically can cover almost the whole map. So he's almost like a full map Timestop. And his cooldown is very short, guys. Look at this. It goes up very fast, especially when you're on 2x speed. All right, I'll show you guys what he does in case people don't know for some reason. All right, all he does is we'll go level up this guy a little bit. There we go. Speed run. All right, so what he does is you press this button and they stop instantly. All other Timestop units, they don't stop instantly. There's a delay. So that's the nice thing about Gojo. He's just straight up the best. So definitely recommend it for pretty much any raid if you want the best of the best. All right, next up we got Law. Now Law is kind of weird with how he works. So basically okay, let me go. I need more HP on these guys and we need 2x. All right, so let's go spawn in a whole bunch of Law enemies here. So if you guys, okay, they're way too slow. Let's go spawn. Let's go make them a little faster. All right, so what Law does is, you see this? It teleports them back a corner. So that's all he does. It's really OP though, honestly. Really one of the best units in the game. Oh man, I don't want to die. All right, there we go. So yeah, and the thing is though, you can only use him like once per unit. And he only teleports a few units, not every unit in his range. I think he only teleports like maybe like 9 units tops. You see? Oh wait, they just got yeeted. That's funny. But yeah, it teleports them back like one corner. All right, next up we have Funny Valentine. What Funny Valentine does is he basically he blocks your base. So when this is on, no enemy can hit your base, and it pushes them back all the way like one corner. So they'll be back all the way here, and they'll just be like stuck here. So your units can damage them, etc. All their stuff. All right, next up we have Dio. Now Dio is pretty sweet as well. He basically time stopped the entire map. But the problem with him is he's very expensive. You see, he costs about 1.5 million. All right, so if we spawn a bunch of enemies in, we can just do this and then bang. So time stop ultimate. And the nice thing about Dio's time stop is pretty long. Apparently it's like 20 to 30. It depends. I think it's like supposed to be like 30 to 40 seconds. So it is a massively, massively long time stop. However, it's still not as good as bringing Gojo, because Gojo, you can time stop them way more times. All right, so you can time stop them with probably like maybe 10 or 20 times with Gojo. But with Dio, because it has long cooldown, you can only time stop him like the enemies once. All right, next up we have Zamasu. Now what Zamasu does is kind of cool. Basically, whenever you use his ability, he cuts the enemy's HP, I believe, in half. They might have nerfed it lately, but that's what he does. So really, that's a really OP ability. But the problem with him, guys, is look at his cost. He's really expensive, and his ability does not come back very fast. This is how fast it comes back on 2x speed. So not the greatest. Next up, we have Rimuru. Now, I think Rimuru's does have a global cooldown. So let me go show you guys Rimuru's. So what Rimuru does is, he has a Steel Soul ability and insane amounts of damage. So if we spawn in this enemy with, oh, I don't want that. Let's spawn an enemy with, like, Powerful 2. All right, if you use this ability, look at this. All their special effects went away. You see that Powerful 2 going away? That's what she does. All right. Now, I don't think it's spammable. I believe it's a global cooldown. So if we place another one and we send some more Powerful 2s, I don't believe it will work, but we'll double check that real quick. So let's go send some more Powerful 2s, and then let's steal her soul. Yeah, you see there's a global cooldown on that. So you have to be very careful with using her. So I only recommend using her with like leaderboards runs with a lot of people, or if you have like a very specific use case. I'm not quite sure she's meta yet, but she could be for air mode, because I do believe she also gets rid of airs as well. So then you could have like on the final waves of air modes, you can have, or you can get rid of cloners. The cloner is the other nice thing it does. So because that's actually really, really freaking OP, getting rid of cloner. So that's what she's there for, getting rid of cloners and air units. All right, next up we have one that I don't have quite yet. We have Diavolo, the new 7-star. All right, Diavolo. Now, not only does Diavolo have great damage, look at that. Honestly, decent enough for raid mode, except the upgrades are kind of expensive. But it also has this right here, guys, Erased. So what Erased does is this. When activated, a shortcut screen shows. So basically, every enemy loses 22% of their health, so it sets to 78%, and then they go back 3 corners. So it's like Law, but even better. So it's a pretty sweet ability, and I definitely recommend using it for every single leaderboard, as long as you're running in like quads or something. So definitely really OP. So now let's go through what you guys have probably been waiting for: the best units for infinite mode damage, as well as the best unit for damage farming. All right, here we go, guys. So first up, we'll start off with the best unit for damage farming, and that one is pretty easy, guys. That one is Yugi. The reason it's Yugi is for this reason alone. This freaking OP ability, guys. Exodia. So what Exodia does is, you don't need to Irwin buff it or anything, but whenever whenever all 5 special cards are drawn, so there definitely is some RNG, it hits the whole map for about 5 billion damage per enemy. So literally, guys, as long as there's about 125 to 150 enemies on the map, and you use that ability, you literally instantly max out your damage task. All right, so he is literally the instant damage task completer. That's why he is so great, and you don't even have to level him up or anything, guys. His ability damage is not affected by Irwin or his level, and plus he's also a really great unit for damage in general. Look at that, guys, 7.3, but the problem is you only place 1. Alrighty, guys. Next up, we have a decent unit for damage. We have Vegu Blue Evolved. All right, so this is one of the 7 stars from the special summons. And what makes him great is this right here, guys. 10 SBA and full AoE, guys, with 100 range. All right, and he's doing about 3 million damage per hit. So definitely one of the highest, and he's not that expensive either. So he's definitely affordable in infinite mode. All right, then we have Broly as the number 2 best unit for damage. All right, but the nice thing about him as well is he is full AoE too. Now, I do believe he's actually technically better than Blue DPS, factoring in DPS. So I definitely recommend more if you want for infinite mode damage. And they both hit air as well, which is really sweet. So they're both OP for air mode. Or honestly, you can just use both. All right, so they're very, very great for damage. Now, according to the developers, this is the best unit for damage in the game. Wait, I think it's Beast. Hogan Adult Beast. Now, the reason I kind of disagree with it, guys, is he's a AoE cone unit. All right. Granted, he does have a very fast SPA, but because he's AoE cone and not full AoE, I can't really recommend him. Because, like, just use the full AoE cone unit. Also, you can stack Brook buff as well as Blue Eye Orb on Broly, and it's freaking insanely OP. Now, another nice thing about this guy is he does gain damage per wave through his ability. He gains, like, a little bit of extra damage. That does kind of help. But, again, you might as well just rock out with Broly. Plus, if you use Broly in the leader slot, he has the buff. He gets, like, a 20% damage buff, which is pretty freaking insane. So, definitely recommend Broly or Gohan. Broly is definitely, I think, might have a slight edge, though. Also, I do believe Broly is cheaper to max out. Yeah, as well. He is cheaper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope you guys figured out what units to get. And hopefully I helped you guys out a little bit. And I'll catch you on the next one. It's your boy Blam signing out, man. Peace.